27 games played in the Premier League, and it is just 2 points that separates top of the league Arsenal and second Manchester City. And this means it is a lot of pressure for Arsenal Football Club going into the North London derby against Tottenham Hotspur. But we'll talk about Arsenal and Tottenham preview game in the next video. But in this one, let's talk about how Manchester City grinded the results against Newcastle United. And Newcastle United coming into this game, let's say how it is, man. They had a lot of confidence because in the Champions League playoffs against Karabakh in the midweek, they scored 6 goals. Anthony Gordon scoring all those, I think Anthony Gordon in that game scored 4 goals. So Newcastle United coming into this one, they were confident, and their midfield, they did not have a lot of bodies at the midfield because, well, Bruno Guimaraes and Joelinton, they did not start in this game. So Sandro Tonali was in the base of everything. But same for Manchester City, Rodley was also the guy who was at the base of everything. But Manchester City coming into this game, well, I think Bernardo Silva, the captain, was just telling his players, you saw what Arsenal did in the midweek. They dropped points against Wolverhampton. So as what we have to do it is just try in every way possible and get these 3 points. And the hero in this game was Nico Riley, man, a guy who is now paying the trust that Pep Guardiola was giving him. In the past games, people were asking, why is Nico Riley even starting games for Manchester City? Remember, he originally came in as a fullback and he gradually developed into a midfield player and has been very phenomenal for Manchester City in these past 5 games. Past 5 games for Manchester City and 5 Ws for them. And today grabbing 2 goals. Let's talk about the first goal, man. A very good transition from this Manchester City team. In the ball finds Omar Mamouche, and Omar Mamouche just slides it in to find Nico O'Reilly. And Nico O'Reilly with a very good finish in front of those Manchester City fans to give them hope. But well, as I've said, Newcastle United came into this game. They were happy. They were very confident after scoring all those loads of goals they scored in the midweek. So we definitely knew that in this one they had to get a goal and they were going to score. And who scored the goal? A very good ball from Jacob Ramsey, and it finds Lewis Hall. Who Lewis Hall has been having a very good game this season from that left back position. I think Thomas Tuchel, when he's looking into English left backs in the Premier League, he has to consider Lewis Hall to be in that play to the World Cup. And one thing that I loved about this Manchester City side after Lewis Hall scored that goal, they did not fold. They did not fold under pressure. It is a 1-1 game in a title race. So teams like, well, we've seen Arsenal in the midweek. They crumbled under pressure. But what I loved about this Manchester City side, that is why it helps when you have leaders in your team. When you have the likes of Rodri, when you have the likes of Bernardo Silva, when you have the likes of Erling Haaland, Mark Gay, who has recently joined the team, Gigi Donnarumma, who is also a winner, serial winner, played the game since he was 16, now he's 26, 10 years into playing football. When you have players like this with huge experience, it really helps your team. And this time, who finds Nico O'Reilly? It is Erling Haaland with a very good cross inside the box, and Nico O'Reilly makes it 2-1 for Manchester City. It was a first half show, 2-1. These goals were scored in the 14th minute and 27th minute for Nico O'Reilly, and in the 22nd minute it was Lewis Hall who get the goal. But let's talk about these players. First, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma has been very key and very instrumental for this Manchester City team. Gigi Donnarumma, he made a save, not as brilliant as that save at Anfield against Liverpool, but this save which he made in the second half, where it was in the final minutes of the game, and he was not even in his lane, and just a tip of the toe to guide the ball back for a corner. That is what you want to see from your players like Gianluigi Donnarumma. That is what you want to see from your players, man. He is not going to keep a clean sheet in every game, man, but in big moments where you want him, he should be there showing up for your team. And you don't have to keep 14 clean sheets so that people know you are a good goalkeeper. No, you can concede 2 goals in a game, but if your team wins the game 4-2, and in the moments where it seemed like, well, the other or the opposition team was going to score, your team was under a lot of pressure, you have to be there so that you can save your team and get these 3 points, because these 3 points against Newcastle United, although they were grinded, although the possession was close, but in some moments like this big save from Gigi Donnarumma, and it was not one by the way, multiple saves by Gigi Donnarumma, they are the ones that, well, at the end of the season, you are looking at your games and you are just looking at Donnarumma and telling him, if it was not that big save at Anfield against Liverpool, if it was not be that big save where we grinded that 2-1 results against Newcastle United, we could have not won this league. Then McGahey, man, wow, McGahey, man, he has really transformed this Manchester City team. McGahey has really transformed this Manchester City side. If you are a Manchester City fan at the moment and you're looking at this McGahey signing, you are just telling yourself, we ate with this one, because multiple good blocks, and even when Manchester City are on attack, he's a guy who can make those line breaking passes. He's a guy who can carry the ball himself. There was a moment there Erling Haaland should have scored that one. He left and band behind, but I think Nick Pope did a very good job in closing down Erling Haaland. But it was McGahey who started that attack. He drives through the midfield. He finds Erling Haaland with a very good ball behind the defense. But Nick Pope did a very good job in preventing Erling Haaland from scoring that one. But that is one from your defenders, man. It shows the improvement that Manchester City have gone from Max Elaine and Kusano from the centre back position to now that Ruben Diaz is back and McGahey in that centre back partnership, man. Having some of your best players in the team at the moment, Ruben Diaz is back and McGahey in that centre back position coming in January, it makes a very good partnership between these two. Having some of your best players back at the moment, in this moment, especially for Manchester City, now that they are just 2 points behind Arsenal, 27 games into the Premier League. Let's see what will happen, but I'm smelling a Manchester City led title charge. I'm smelling a Manchester City stealing this title from Arsenal. Then finally, let's talk about the guy who scored 2 goals today, Nico Riley. His development into this Manchester City team, coming in as a fullback, then moving into the midfield, has been really phenomenal. And people were asking, why does Pep Guardiola keep playing this kid, man? Because in the first half of the season, he was playing right. He was not that brilliant player. He was not that flashy player. We could just look at him with the ball on his feet and like, wow, this is a world-class talent. Nah, Nicky Riley, he was nowhere near that. But Pep Guardiola kept playing him. Pep Guardiola kept showing him the trust. And finally, in the second half of the season, or in the past 5 to 6 games, Nicky Riley has been brilliant. He has been world-class. And that is a very brilliant attribute to have from one of your young players, 20 or 21 years old, and they can score multiple times. He can hang in the box and score a header. He can take a shot from outside the box. So it shows you what he can score various and multiple types of goals. And having players like these ones who can score this kind of goals, a guy who is very creative like Ryan Chaki, Omar Mamouche who can whip a ball from outside the box, Erling Haaland, well, for me, he's the best striker on planet Earth. Then we have the likes of Antonio Semenyo in the left wing, who has been having a very fantastic start for his Manchester City career. So, can these Manchester City players take the title away from Arsenal? Only time will tell, but it shows this game in the North London Derby, which in the past few months has been just a formality. The game should be played and Arsenal take those 3 points. But in this one, I don't think it's going to be that easy for Arsenal Football Club. One, this Arsenal team has been showing that it can crumble under a lot of pressure. And the fact that Manchester City have played their game fast and they've collected their 3 points, closing the gap just to 2 points. If Arsenal in any way don't get these 3 points against Tottenham, I think at this point it will be over, because I don't see them winning the next multiple games. They will crumble with the draws and L's, because at that point it will be a mental issue, not just an issue inside the box. But for Manchester City, for Guardiola and his boys, now they're happy that they collected the 3 points, waiting for Arsenal to play in the North London Derby and I go Tudor, his first game. Will we see a new manager bounce from Tottenham Hotspurs? We might not. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Does this mean Manchester City are going to steal the title away from Arsenal Football Club? What will happen if Arsenal draw or take an L in this one? Don't forget to leave a sub and doing all the good stuff for this video. Ciao, see you in the next one.